So we woke up early. I was pretty nervous of what to expect, what we were going to see, how we were going to be able to help.
The main reason for Liquid IV to go on this trip was to sponsor Mountain Heart Nepal, go to a small, tiny town up in the Himalayas to set up a mobile clinic to help as many people in that tiny little region as we could.
A lot of the people who lived in this village and lived in surrounding villages had never been to a doctor before. So they heard it on the radio. There was going to be a doctor at the elementary school in Galigao, and they came from all over. They just kind of converged on this village.
And then it was just like game time. So we had all the trucks pull up. We started bringing out all the supplies, all the Liquid IV.
We had to go back and forth carrying all the equipment, the medical equipment, Liquid IV, boxes of this and that. Here we were setting up for this medical clinic.
We started pulling out all of our product and make sure it was displayed, making sure all the medical equipment was ready to go.
Should be an interesting, awesome day to help people.
We had no idea whether to expect 10 people, 100 people, anywhere in between.
We got set up and then just the people started pouring in. It was just like all day, steady all day. There were people rolling in.
These people were all ages, all walks of life, people who had seen a doctor in the last couple of years and people who had never seen a doctor in their entire lifetime.
We were taking blood pressure, we were taking temperatures. We were really in it, you know.
We had men and women who were bringing their children for the first time, and we had elderly men and women who had been working in the rice fields their entire life. And because of that, their posture were permanently hunched over, and so they were having back issues and feet issues and knee issues, and it was a really heavy but moving and powerful day. That was the exact reason why we were there.
You know, I feel like people felt like people cared. And so that was like the thing, like all the goods, all the prenatal vitamins, all the Liquid IV was great. But I think the biggest thing was just these people came to help us, especially once they let their guards down and we started having some of those conversations. Like it was like the heart of the trip. When we first got there, they brought a whole school up and they did like a whole like classroom ceremony that we did outdoors. And there's this one boy and he was in his uniform and we started playing soccer. We started just kicking the ball around and he immediately latched on to me. Because for me, what I always went to my whole life is sports. Like there's this common theme of like ball, sports, forget everything else. Like I don't care where I am in the world, like I'm focused on this competition now. Just like something about him reminded me of me when I was a kid. He just wouldn't let go of the ball. He would come grab me and grab my shirt and he like wanted to play. And I was like, I'm supposed to be doing this thing. And at some point I was like, hey guys, I'm going to play sports with this kid, okay? And then like he had to leave. And so like he left and I started focusing back on the medical mission. And like an hour later, he just like showed back up, but he had his whole soccer uniform on. He had changed clothes and he came with his sister this time. So now it's him and his sister and she's in like this pretty red like dress, like all dressed up. And he's now in his soccer uniform and he's like ready to play. Now it's pouring. So I put on my jacket and we just like played in the rain for like, I don't even know, like at least half an hour soccer. I ended up hanging out with the kids like all day long.
Midway through the day, I think Goma let Brandon know that they were actually part of the lowest caste, which is unfortunately called the Untouchables, which is a caste of people that's almost guaranteed to really never leave their class, never leave their station in life. We're taught in America that we can grow up to be anything we want, right? It was really sad to hear that these kids are really oppressed by a system that doesn't necessarily have their best interests at heart.
The most powerful moment of the day, I was trying to show an older gentleman Liquid IV, how to drink it, to be hydrated. And he has this beautiful smile and he took my hand and he held onto it and he smiled like he wanted to thank me, just thanking. And his hand was like it was like thick and calloused, but warm. But it was like, you could feel his entire life was like picking up stones and rocks. Like you could feel that. That was it.
the community, as a celebration to us and welcoming us into their village, decided to hold a celebration for us.
And they wanted to show their culture to us, the visitors.
It felt like a big family dinner. It was probably like 20 of us in a room.
From there, it was like hours on hours of dancing and singing, and they brought all of us on stage. It started with Brandon.
Brandon went up there, and then Sean went up there, and he just stole the show. I mean, I don't even know how he did it. It was like he had been practicing. Like, he did so well that they even gave him like this special scarf to like indicate that he had like graduated to the next level of dancing or something like that. He was so good.
It was like not one lick of English was spoken, but it was like this uniting moment where we all just were together celebrating and happy, and it was so cool. It was like so cool.
So the next morning we had to say goodbye to Galigal, the villagers, and I felt at that point we had stayed long enough that they knew who we were. We've gotten to meet several of them personally, so that was really sweet.
What struck me about the Nepali culture was their values. They come from nothing, most of them. They don't have a lot, but they are so happy. They value family and community, and they are just so happy.
I really got to witness a community that, like, something about the people that we met in Nepal and the way they were with each other in community, I was jealous. Because here in LA, I feel like it's very much, we're out for ourselves, you know? And because of that, there's a sort of a lack of comfort.
A group of them just lined up just to say goodbye, and then one at a time, we would approach them. And actually, this is what I'm carrying here. It's so beautiful, this tradition. They give you flowers, and then they wrap these scarves that they have around your neck. And these are different times, but they're just so, it's such a beautiful thing. And you just feel like, I don't know, you just feel really special, because it's like you bow, it's Buddhist, and you bring, and they're just giving you something of theirs to take with you, and you feel so at peace.
It really made me really evaluate. You know, I came home and remember walking into my closet being like, why do I need 75% of this? I don't need all of this. We live in such abundance, and there it's so minimal, and you know, unfortunately it's not their choice. They don't have access to things. They don't have the resources to live in abundance, but none of that matters. And they live just like in such peaceful happiness, like just genuine love for each other.